Change leaders enable generational advancement. Leadership learning. On 27 February 1940, chemists Martin Kamen and Sam Rubin discovered carbon-14 at the University of California, Berkeley, identifying a radioactive isotope whose predictable decay rate would transform humanity's ability to establish objective chronological measurement. This discovery created a scientifically grounded dating framework that reshaped disciplines dependent on chronological accuracy, including archaeology and environmental science. Their laboratory experiments demonstrated a radioactive carbon isotope formed through deuteron bombardment in a cyclotron, enabling the development of radiocarbon dating and new methodologies for determining the age of organic material. This discovery emerged from a broader scientific effort to understand atomic structure and isotopic behavior during an era of accelerating nuclear research. Scientists were exploring how elements transformed under neutron bombardment, seeking to expand theoretical and practical knowledge of atomic processes. The identification of carbon-14 was initially a technical achievement within nuclear chemistry. Its profound implications were not fully realized until later, when its decay properties were harnessed to measure the age of organic material with unprecedented precision. Before this discovery, archaeology relied on systematic methods such as stratigraphy and typological comparison, but these approaches provided relative rather than universally calibrated absolute dates. This isotope introduced a universally applicable scientific reference. It allowed scientists to determine the age of ancient artifacts, environmental samples, and biological remains using measurable decay intervals rather than inference alone. This transformed archaeology from a largely interpretive discipline into one supported by measurable scientific evidence. The scientific environment at Berkeley played an essential role. It combined experimental rigor, institutional capability, and intellectual openness to explore questions whose practical applications were uncertain. The discovery reflected the importance of persistence in experimental investigation and the role of well-structured research environments in enabling foundational breakthroughs. The long-term implications extended far beyond nuclear chemistry. Radiocarbon dating reshaped archaeology, allowing civilizations to establish accurate chronologies. Environmental science gained tools to reconstruct climate history and ecological change. Forensic science acquired new capabilities to analyze biological evidence. Even technology and industrial research benefited through improved understanding of isotopic processes. This moment demonstrates how foundational discovery restructures knowledge systems over time. The significance lay not merely in identifying an isotope, but in redefining how society validated historical truth. Such developments influence institutional priorities, knowledge frameworks, and the trajectory of technological advancement across generations. Saculum leadership teaches that foundational discoveries become generational inflection points when leaders recognize their long horizon significance. Such breakthroughs act as a signal, clarifying direction, reducing uncertainty, and revealing the next horizon of progress. Change leadership lessons. What began as experimental nuclear chemistry became a generational catalyst for institutional transformation. Leaders of change recognize that sustained investment in foundational research enables transformational progress whose applications emerge across generational time horizons. They model disciplined experimentation to establish credibility and transform uncertainty into measurable, reliable, and operationally useful knowledge. Change leaders cultivate institutional environments that support persistence, collaboration, and rigorous intellectual challenge to enable structural breakthrough and scientific advancement. They intervene by replacing assumption-based interpretation with verifiable frameworks, grounded in objective, repeatable, and measurable evidence systems. Leaders of change enable environments committed to pursuing truth despite unclear immediate outcomes, ensuring enduring progress and long-term societal advancement. Summary leadership quote: "True change emerges when disciplined collaboration, rigorous verification, adaptive innovation, and long-term vision align to enable generational advancement and unlock transformative potential." Change leadership responsibility 1. Articulate a change vision. The identification of carbon-14 emerged from disciplined inquiry, where immediate application was uncertain, but conceptual significance was undeniable. A credible change vision establishes the intellectual foundation that sustains progress when outcomes remain uncertain and institutional validation has not yet materialized. Modern organizations secure long-term commitment when leaders articulate a future state grounded in evidence, disciplined reasoning, and coherent explanatory frameworks. This clarity enables stakeholders to grasp what new insight is emerging, why existing assumptions require reevaluation, and which institutional constraints must be confronted rather than avoided. A well-articulated vision does not depend on immediate utility for legitimacy. It creates the conditions where emerging knowledge can be recognized, examined, and developed with intellectual seriousness. When leaders communicate vision with precision, credibility, and disciplined reasoning, they reduce uncertainty-driven resistance, discourage premature abandonment, and enable structured exploration before full operational value is realized. This responsibility ensures that transformational progress remains anchored in rigorous thought, empirical investigation, and purposeful direction, allowing new knowledge to mature into enduring scientific and institutional advancement. Leadership of change. Final thoughts. Enduring transformation requires leaders who articulate possibility grounded in disciplined scientific reasoning before practical application becomes fully evident or accepted. In an era shaped by artificial intelligence, accelerating data capability, and scientific convergence, leadership responsibility is to articulate emerging truth with intellectual courage. Leadership excellence lies not in reacting to immediate utility, but in recognizing foundational discoveries early and enabling their maturation into enduring systems that reshape understanding across generations. Find out more. Change Management Leadership, Leadership of Change, Volume 4.